Hey, so in this video I'm just going to talk about some of the interface customization options. This is something you'll likely to want to do fairly near the start of working with Microthemer. So to get to them, we go to the settings menu, and then if it's not open already, we expand this view section here. So first off, you've got the option of a dark theme. Now this will actually be enabled by default if you've got your system settings on your computer to set to dark. Otherwise, the light theme is on by default. Personally, I think the dark theme looks better from a sort of aesthetic point of view. I've only just added it, so I haven't checked myself whether or not I prefer actually using it. I'd be really interested to hear your feedback in that. I tend to use light themes on the whole, just because I find the text a bit easier to read, but that could just be because that's what I'm used to. So we've also got some presets for the layout. So the default one is medium. In the previous versions, the default options was to have, instead of having the styles on the left here, was to have them above. Haven't actually sent out a newsletter about this beta version yet, so it's possible that the default view might be these top options, just if existing users really prefer that. But either way, it's easy to switch. That's why I've got these layout presets. Really, just one button, you can go and you have the options on the top. So we've already looked at the default view of just having one sidebar, and this this is just showing over the top of the site, but in this right-hand settings sidebar. But in the large view, this is docked right, so the website appears in between, and also we've got the inspection options open. You can toggle them here on and off. But if you've got enough screen space, it's good to have these options open. And then the extra large screen is just for very large screens where you'd still have plenty of room for the site. And also just if you prefer having more information available, so there's less clicks to open these panes. It's a bit busier, obviously. But so it's a matter of personal preference. So the default one's like this, where you've still got plenty of room for the site and all the options in the sidebar, which is a more conventional place to have them. Having them on the top is useful if you're integrating with a page builder, because a page builder might have its own left sidebar, and then if that was here, you'd have even less room for the site. The other advantage of having the options on the top is that you can jump between the properties, the different property groups a little bit more easily. So in the default view, we would go, say we're on this heading here, we would click the back button to say jump between filters and spacing. So it's just an extra click, but maybe that's simpler for people. And actually, before I move on to the detached preview thing, which I'll talk about in a moment, the fine-tuning options basically just with these presets, you've got a certain amount of layouts. That's just to give you some common to sort of the extra large one, for instance, 3 columns is maybe quite a lot, but you can also choose to have 2 columns, and you can choose to dock, say, the folders to the left or not, and the editor and the styles, and you can play around with whatever feels most comfortable to you, and with the full height, sometimes you can create a bit more. So if I set this is on at the moment, let me just expand these. They're already expanding. These options here at the moment, we've got a fairly narrow space here for the inspection tools. If we were to not have the left sidebar going all the way down, then we've got a bit more room. So you can maybe play around with this. See what seems most comfortable. And then there's also an option, it's a bit hard to show on a video, but if you detach the site preview, let's see if this is going to work. Then we've got, in one tab, we've got the site previews, we've got a bit more room for clicking, and then in another tab, here we go. We'd have a whole tab for a whole screen just for Microthemer. So instead of having the site preview in the middle, we've got a bit more room for the code editor, and then we've got all the options here. So that's good if you're working on 2 screens. And then there's some preferences like whether or not you have rulers. And we've already looked at the full code view in a previous video, but that is going to be retired in the nearish future. Anyway, so at the moment, the code view allows you to just have a simple file for adding CSS and JavaScript. But we're going to have a better option coming up in future where you will be able to just add a random CSS snippet or JavaScript snippet to a folder, and that way you can just keep things a bit more organized and apply specific JavaScript to specific pages once conditional logic for folders is supported. Okay, so yeah, I think that's everything we wanted to cover about the customizing the view. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.